Hey everyone, let's learn how to pass props to a component in React. Again, we're using the new React docs, that's beta.reactjs.org, under the Learn section, describing the UI, passing props to a component. So again, I'm going to skim through quite a lot of stuff. You should read it, it's very much worth it. So let's have a look. Props, what are props? So props are like basically the information that we pass down to a JSX tag, like class name, right? We learned in one of the previous videos, class name is the same as class, but we need to use class name in React. And then like source, alt, width, height for the image. They're all the props that an image would have. Okay, so that's basically the kind of props, that conforms to the HTML standard. You can read more about that there, but you can also pass your own props to your component, such as an avatar, and customize it even further. So let's have a look at how to do that. Okay, so step one, pass props to the child element. So here we've got an avatar component with a person, and we've got name, an image ID, and the size. So how do we do that? Okay, so if double curly braces after a person confuse you, remember we covered this in one of the other videos. This is just an object. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do this. This is just an object inside that, JavaScript land. Okay, so we've got person, and then we've got name and image ID. And now you can read these props inside the avatar component. Okay, so how do we do that? We read props inside the child component by basically putting them here, right? Person and size. If we go up here, we've got person and we've got size, and we want to be able to, in the avatar component, right? This is the profile component. I'm using it here. And then I'm kind of basically saying, I'm reading it here, right? And make sure we're using those curly braces, and then we pass it in here, person and size, inside our avatar component. Let's look at it. So here is our avatar component, and we want to use these want to be props, person and size, because we want to make avatars with different people, different sizes, and make it dynamic, make it changeable. So then we say, okay, this is an image, and the class name is avatar. The source is get image URL. That's just a utility that's created here, but don't worry about that. And we're passing in the person. And then the alt is the person.name, and the width is the size, and the height is the size. And then we basically use a profile component that uses the avatar component, and it's passing in this person, right? Which is the name and the image ID and the size. And then we have another one, and obviously we can change these and modify it, and etc., etc. Okay, pretty good so far. So props let you think about parent and child components independently, and you can change the person or the size props inside the profile without having to think about how the avatar uses them. Okay, so just a little kind of thing on props, props is basically can be passed in like this, and then you can say let person equals props.person, let size equals props.size. So props, if you need the whole props object, then this might make sense to you. And this is the same, right? We're basically putting it in the curly braces. We're saying person and size, they're the props I want. This is destructuring it, and it's the same as writing this. Okay. But you can also specify a default value for props. So in here, I could say person, and then I could say size equals 100. Okay, so then anything, if I don't even pass in a size, it's just going to be 100. So that covers me as well, for undefined kind of things. Also, it means it's going to be 100 unless I change it. So it might be something that's always going to be 100 almost, but maybe it might change. So that's a good use case. And we can also forward props with the JSX spread syntax. So here we've got say person size is sepia thick border, and then we've got person equals person, size equals size, is sepia equals sepia. There's a lot of repetition there, right? So we can make this a little bit easier. And we can say, pass in props, right? And then we can use the spread syntax here, which is ... props inside these curly braces. And it's just going to spread them all, just like that, right? So that means I'm going to get all of them. So use spread syntax with restraint. If you're using in every component, something is wrong. So just be careful of that. Okay, that's props. That's a lot. Wow. And now we go into children. I know. Passing JSX as children. Children used to get me at first, and I was like, what are children? Kind of confusing, but this is actually going to make it very simple. So bear with me. So here I've got a div and an image, right? So I'm nesting the image inside the div. This could be like a parent and this is a child, right? Simple, actually. So this is the parent that's rendering a child of an avatar. Simple as that. So when you nest content into a JSX tag, the parent component will receive that content in a prop called children. So children is just a prop. The card component below will receive a children prop set to avatar. So here we pass in children, just like we were passing in size and name, etc. We pass in children, and then here we're rendering children inside that div. And that means anything could go in here because, children can come in any size, form, and shape. Okay, so that's basically our children. And then in our profile component, we would render our card component, and we're putting our avatar in there instead of what would be the children, right? So we could put avatar in there, or we could just change it, right? The children could be just like AH1 Debbie. And we could put me inside there instead, right? Kind of ugly, but still, it's all good. So yeah, and basically, that's basically what children are, right? So you can think of a component with a children prop as having a hole that can be filled in by its parent component with an arbitrary JSX. So you often use children prop for visual wrappers, panels, grids, and so on. So here, like, you've got the card, which has got children, and you can put the text in, which you saw there we put with Debbie. You can put the avatar component in there, and you could have many cards, and you have different children in them all. So it's kind of cool. Okay, that was a lot. I know. We'll go back over children many times, so don't worry too much. Let's have a look at how props change over time. So let me see, we have a clock here. And we can see that the clock is changing, right? So time is changing, right? The seconds are changing. And also we can pick a color and we can say, like, your midnight blue or your nice purple there, okay? So we've got a color and a time prop and things are changing. So the clock component receives props from its parent component, and the parent component's code is emitted because it uses state. And we're not going to cover that yet. We will be doing state in a future video. So basically, just a couple of things to remember. Props are immutable. I know, difficult word. You're like, computer science terminology here. But immutable means unchangeable. They should have just said unchangeable, right? So when a component needs to change its props, for example, in response to user interaction or new data, it will have to ask its parent component to pass it different props. Its old props then get just like thrown away, and eventually, like, the JavaScript engine just removes it from memory, garbage, etc. So don't try to change props. When you need to respond to the user input, like changing the selected color, you will need to use setState, which we'll cover in the future, but you can read up more about it here if you want. So recap, that was a lot. So let's recap this. To pass in props, add them to the JSX, just like you would HTML attributes. Okay. To read props, use the function avatar, and don't forget those curly braces. This is like destructuring. Okay. You can specify a default value like size equals 100. Okay, cool. And that covers you for like undefineds and other stuff. You can forward all the props down with the spread syntax by using the ... props. Yeah, just make sure it's inside this curly braces. Don't overuse it. And nested JSX, like card, avatar card, is like children, and it'll appear as the card component's children prop. Props are read-only snapshots in time. Every render receives a new version of props, and you can't change props. When you need interactivity, you're going to need to use state. Okay, that was a lot, I know. And now, guess what? It's challenge time. Okay, let's try out some challenges. These are going to be difficult. We've got 3 challenges. Let's see how far we get. This gallery component contains some very similar markup for 2 profiles. We've got to extract a profile component out of it to reduce the duplication, and you'll need to choose what props to pass to it. Wowzers, that's a big challenge. Okay, let's have a look. Extract a component. So let's first have a look at what we've got here. We've got a scientist and another scientist, and they're pretty much the same. Okay, they've got a couple of things different there, but pretty much the same. So that's what we're looking for. So we look at the code. We've got a H1, and then we've got a section with an A, a H2 with an image, a UL, section, and these are the same, right? So we can see, like, pretty much from the section, this is like a component, right? And we copy this properly. And there we go. I'm just going to copy it rather than delete it for now. And I'm going to put up here. So we want to create a component. How do we create a component? We create a function So we can call it function profile and open our brackets, and then we need to put in curly braces and we need to return something, open our brackets, and then we're going to paste in here. Ba-dam! So now we've got a profile component, right? Just copied and pasted. It's not exactly what we wanted to do. And now we've got to basically use props. So let's have a look. And we kind of look here and say, right, Maria, you're a name, right? That's pretty simple, name. And then we've got to like pass it in here, right? So we've got to put name, got a name in there. Now we're going to have more. So let's have a look. We have, this is avatar. I think class name is fine. Alt, we could even just use the name. So we could do that. That covers our alt. Width and height. So this is going to be size. So let's change that to size. And we can put in size here. Okay, cool. And then we got profession. So we can put profession like this. And then we're going to have to put it up here. Now, sometimes we're doing this and we have no idea if this is even working, right? Like we can just continue doing this, or we can kind of say, let's see is actually what we're building working. So let's kind of see if it actually works first. So we've got it here. We're going to render this profile component. It's not finished, but we want to see what's happening. So we're not using children or anything, so we can do this. And then we want to pass in the props. So what props are we passing in? So you can see we've got something in there. We've got profession is empty and name is empty. So we can say our name prop and we can call it, let's just say Debbie, right? So now we got Debbie, yay! So we know this works, so that's cool. And we've got size equals, and then we've got, for numbers, we've got curly braces and we're gonna put, I don't know, 50, for example. And then we got a very strange sized, yep, that looks good. I look good. Okay, what else have we got in here? We've got profession. So what is my profession? Great question. Let's have a look at the other professions. Physicist and a chemist. Okay, well, let's copy. I'll just be as clever as her. Come on. Let me see. So in here, and I can put this down another line just to see it. I put profession. And here we can put it as a string like this. Okay, so that's fine. And what else have we got in here? We've got awards. Oh my gosh, I've won lots of awards. So, we can just take this like this and we can put in awards. We got to make sure we put it up here. Otherwise it will break. There we go. And then we're going to put our awards into our profile component. Awards equals, and I am so clever, string and blah, blah, blah. Look at all the awards I won. Oh my God. Okay. And what else have we got in here? Discovered. So this is what I discovered. Okay. And we can put discovered. Discovered. Did I write that right? I did, but I didn't put it up here. In my, oh, am I putting it in the wrong place? I'm putting it in the wrong place. I should be putting it up here. Discovered. Discovered. And up to the top here, we add in discovered. Okay, lovely. That's excellent. And obviously I broke it down here, so let's fix it. Let's remove that and just put in here because that's our duplicated one to make sure it works. And in here, we're going to put discovered equals. I'm just going to put this, right? So this works. We've got beautiful and it looks the same. Beautiful. Now we can improve this further. I'm not going to do this right now, but you could obviously see that Nobel Prize in physics, and you could let me see, we could just put these as an array or something and then join them, and we can then obviously just remove the rest. So you can do this, and you can see this as well needs to be added, right? You could add the image ID, for example. So you can do that more in your own time. You can play around and make it nicer, but that's pretty much, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I've kind of, done what I need to do. Okay, so that's cool. Again, if you want to check out the full solutions, you can just click on here and you can see the full solution there. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's do the second one. Adjust the image size based on a prop. Nice. Okay. So in this example, the avatar receives a numeric size prop, which determines the image width and height. The size prop is set to 40, but the image, when you open a new tab, you'll notice that the image itself is larger, and the real image is determined by which thumbnail size you're requesting. So change the avatar component to request the closest image size based on the size prop. If the size is less than 90, we've got to pass in S. Otherwise, we pass in B to the getImageURL function. And verify that changes work by rendering avatars with different values of the size. Okay, oh my God. So let's have a look. Basically, we got the avatar component and we have B. And what we want to do is also pass in an S for small. Okay. And size is 40 if the size is 90. So let's see, how would we go about doing this? Here's our size. And let's just create another avatar. And let's put like 100, right? So we can see what's going on here. Okay, we've got a crash, we've got a syntax error. If we read the error, we can see we're missing like fragment. So let's go and do that. Great. And down here. Excellent. That will work. Now it says, if we open this in a new tab, so let's do that. Open image in new tab. And we're getting, the image is rendering at 160 by 160, right? But if we open this one, open image in new tab, we're also getting 160 by 160, right? So what we want to do is we want to render a smaller image in here. So we want to say this, we want to be like, image size. So let's take this out and let's say image size. And then we want to say let image size equals, what do we say? Let me say less than 90. So let image size equals S. And then we can say if, for example, if size, not image size, if size is greater than or equal to 90, let me see if this works, then image size equals B, right? I think I got that right. So the image should be the same, but now if I made a mistake. What did I do wrong? Let image size equals S if image is greater than equal to, if size is greater than equal to 90. If size is greater than or equal to 90, let me see. If size, let me just put grid. No, that's still. So I've got a mistake here. Unexpected result. Oh, I've got let. That should, oh, I've got it in the return. Okay, so don't do this in the return because it won't work. That was terrible of me. So there you go. That's better. So let's check this out. Now if I open this image in a new tab, this one's 90 by 90. And this one is open image in a new tab. Let me see. This one is 90 by 90. So I messed that one up. So let's have it as greater than 90. That should be working. If size is greater than 90, I want you to be, oh, look, I spelled this wrong. Disaster. Who makes videos and makes mistakes? Okay, so now this should work. Let's have a look. Now you should be open image in new tab and 160 by 160 and the other is 90 by 90. Okay, cool. So challenge complete. And again, you can show the solution and see if it was done the same, etc. Or if it could be done better. They probably did it better than me. Let's have a look. Passing JSX in a children prop. This is the last one of the day. Let's have a look and see if we can do this. Extract a card component from the markup below and use the children prop to pass different JSX to it. Okay, card component. So in here we've got two cards. Let's have a look. We've got a photo. So they're two pretty different cards. Okay, we want to keep the card Class name, we want to keep the card content. That seems to be the same here. But H1 and H1, they're kind of different. So we basically want this to be the children, right? So what we do is I'm going to copy all of this and I'm going to copy it and make it a new component. So let's do that first. So we come up here and we say function card, open brackets, curly braces, return, open braces, paste, and we've got our card. Now, what we said is that we want this to be like different each time. So we want it to be children, right? And don't forget, we got to pass in curly braces and pass in our children here. So we have access to them, right? So now anything can go in here. So let's render our card and see if we can do this. So we've got to put our card in here and we can close our card and then we can put anything inside. I can just test it very easy by putting Debbie and see if that works. Let me have a look. Yay! So I've got a card called Debbie. That's great. And then we can literally just, copy this, paste it here. And now I can just take this H1. I can take it out of here. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to, instead of Debbie, I'm going to put this in here. Lovely. And then I'll copy this one again because it's smaller. Put this one here. And take this. Oh, no, this one here. I'm just going to take this from here. Remove those two divs because you don't want those. And paste that in there instead of Debbie. And now we have our beautiful cards. And working the same, we can have as many cards as we want. And that is it. Remember, if you're going to create a new file, that you would export this as a, put it in a different place. But just for this exercise, it's all in the one file. So that's it. We did props, we did children, we did a lot of stuff. Very amazing. If you got this far with me, well done. Great job for staying on. We're going to do conditional rendering in the next one. So stay tuned. Have fun.